Welcome to Early Spring Planting Part 2. If you missed Part 1, that was just my last video. That's where I explained everything that I took out of this front yard full sunflower bed and also all of the things that I'm putting in. So if you're interested in names of things, maybe check that video out first. Hi you guys, this is Nicole from My Carolina Garden. My garden is located in growing zone 8B and I am in Southeastern North Carolina. So we are back in my front flower bed now. Since I left you last time, I've done a few things, but not all the things. So let's jump in there and I'll show you. So the last time you saw this space, I did not have anything planted in here at all. Since then, the only thing that I have planted was the Kilmarnock Willow. Oh no, it's Kilmarnock Willow. Kilmarnock Willow. That tree actually is the whole reason why I rearranged this flower bed, so I could get this baby awesome, like, spotlight section of my garden. So the Kilmarnock Willow is going to be 6 feet wide, 8 feet tall. Let's see if that's right. Yep, that's right. And so I needed to take out something that was sickly over here anyway, but this guy needed a spotlight place. So I decided let's just rearrange a whole bunch of stuff. So this one is now in the ground, and the last time you saw us, we had 2 golden sword yuccas over here because I separated this big baby. Well, unfortunately, if I had put or left both of the yuccas in the ground, I would not have had enough room for all of the iris bulbs that I took out of the ground. So I'm leaving that yucca. This is going to all be irises in this whole section. There's no way for me to know which root is going to produce the root beer colored iris, which is my most favorite. And so I wanted to just kind of make sure I could keep all my irises together. The main goals that I was after this year, and I had talked to you about this previously, was number 1, I wanted to plant in groupings or in drifts to make a bigger impact than I usually do. I'm the type of person that when I see things on sale, I'll buy 1, possibly 2 of something so I can have a variety instead of buying a grouping. So this time I was trying to go differently, and since these annuals were all on sale, I went for it. So we have at least 5 of each of the plants that are going in the ground. Now, the other goal of mine for this year was to work smarter and not harder, hence using some electric tools whenever I can. So since I have a lot of things that have to go in the ground, I'm using this auger drill bit that just fits right into your drill. It's super handy. I have like 5 sizes of bits, so this one probably will do the job. And I'm just going to get each of these annuals into the ground. That's that. Besides all of that stuff, the only thing that I can think that's different is I took this rock out of the flower bed completely. You know I love rocks. I have a gorgeous rock garden, and I think that's where this one is just going to go. I have to cart my rocks in from all over the place, but I'm lucky enough to have friends and family who have properties with plentiful rocks. So that's been part of my summer fun. Each year I go and collect some more big rocks or mini boulders or whatever. So this guy was from my in-laws' property, and like I said, I think it's going to make its way into the rock garden because it just didn't fit right. There was no great placement for it. And the only other thing I might do besides planting all these beautiful flowers is maybe reshape this Nandina a little bit. I don't want to remove it because it is evergreen, so it gives me beautiful color even in the winter, but it does sprout up pups all around the side, so I just may remove some of the pups and reorganize it a little bit just so I have more room for my annual color. So we got all the annuals in, and I just want to give you a couple of notes before I go ahead and plant the irises. First of all, the regal geraniums on either side of my willow, those are hardy to 32 degrees. So I think someone was a little bit concerned that they were going to be tropical and not be able to withstand early spring weather. They are going to be just fine. I don't currently have frost in my forecast, although I am acutely aware that my average last frost date is April 15th. So I have a solid month that I could potentially still see some frost. So if I do see frost, I'm going to cover this bed with a frost blanket just to make sure that all my babies are protected, especially, of course, my feature plant here, the willow. Want to make sure that baby's great. So geraniums are going to be just fine. Of course, we know pansies are cold weather flowers, so they're going to be just fine. I also just wanted to note that this dianthus, even though it is marked as annual, it is not an annual for me here in Zone 8B in coastal North Carolina. I have dianthus all over my yard. It stays actually pretty evergreen, even though it doesn't necessarily flower all winter, but that guy is going to keep coming back for me. So as every garden and every flower bed is a work in progress. So as things may die back or whatever may happen, I will just absolutely add new things into this area to keep the color and interest going. So now I'm going to get as many irises over in this area as I can. Oh wait, one other thing I wanted to note was my drip irrigation. I just moved some of the hosing around to a little bit of different locations. I have tubing throughout this whole space, but this little one that you saw me move was around some other plants that had been here before. So I just needed to relocate that, and then I have other water coming from a different side. So here we go with the bearded irises. All right, so here's where we are. We got all of the bearded irises over here. Well, I say all. I didn't have room for about 10 of the tubers. So I ended up planting them outside in the Garden of Misfit Toys. And if you're not familiar with that, you will be. That's that. I did leave some of the Dutch irises that I said weren't blooming for me before. I just kind of shuffled them around and we're just going to see what happens. The orange daylilies that get super tall, they're behind the willow. So we have a lot of things just kind of tucked in here, and it's all just a wait and see. The vermilion air with the orange, like firecracker shaped flowers that blooms in the fall, that's over toward the fence over there. Blah! So much has been accomplished. It is crazy. I did get a few bags of mulch simply to protect my new plantings. I'm not ready to fully mulch my whole yard by any means, but since these guys are new, that will be a way of protecting their roots. And as I said, if any frost should come my way, I will be using a frost blanket over top. So I'm going to mulch, and then we are going to see the final product. Well, it's fair to say that with all this gardening work, I am back in my happy place. Although I have to say my gardening muscles need to be sharpened because I feel weak and it's tiring. So go easy on yourselves when you're first starting out and getting back into the groove of things because it is quite exhausting. Anyway, I am thrilled with the amount of color I have in here. My Kilmarnock Willow is just so gorgeous. So it's like the little pussy willows on the end of the branches, right? And you may notice they have a yellowish tint right now. That's pollen. They actually have pollen around each one of those, and it's like a little more color even. So I love everything about that. As exhausting as this all was, it was wonderful to be back with you out in the garden being productive. So as I said last time, spring is coming for all of us. So we don't have to be that patient for that much longer. Follow me on social media so you can see a little bit more real time what's happening or sales I'm finding or planting that's going on or whatever. And make sure you subscribe if you do like the kind of content that I provide here. Thank you so much, you guys. And until next time, happy planting.